What's going on YouTube? It's Chris the Mentalist Dreher here with my Gusto deck update. I've been working on this deck for a little while now, and I feel like it's actually pretty good now. The last one that I had on my channel was really pretty bad. There's another one that's on my teammate and my brother's channel, Yokin88 or Lord Drago now. Go check it out over there if you guys haven't already. That one is a lot more offensive than this build is, and offense is not what Gustos are. Gustos, excuse me, are a very defensive deck, and the purpose of the deck is to tighten up the defense, which I took them to the last regional and did absolutely terrible with them because I was focused on offense, pushing, and just kind of relying on the loot instead of relying on tightening up the defense of the loop. So didn't do too well there, but I think I've got a good build now. So let you guys see it and let me know what you guys think. So we are still running 3 Daigusto Gulldo. Really don't see that changing anytime soon, but I feel like he's the best one just because he can be destroyed anyway and still special summon on level 2 or lower Gusto. So next we have 2 Winda, priestess of Gusto. I don't run 3 anymore. I think I did in the last one. I don't run it anymore because I'm not running telekinetic power well in here anymore. I'm also he can't be creature swapped and she can't be creature swapped and get her effect. So that's like your second strongest play. Sure, she can be junk synchroed, but I mean, so can half the monsters in this deck. So you just get, she's in here just as a gateway between Egul and Gulldo. And then, speaking of, I run 2 Gusto Eguls instead of 3. It's really good, and it's the card that allows you to go into your cams. So, you know, if you can find a room for the third one and put it in, maybe you guys can suggest a card to take out for it. But, I feel like 2 is a really good number. I've been playtesting and it's been working out fine. You just have to be smart about, you know, how you go into your progressions after your opponent starts attacking. Next, I run 3 Kamui Hope of Gusto. Flip special summon a Gusto tuner so you can get Gulldo or Egul. I had been playing around with Falco for a second. He's actually a pretty good card, but he has to be face up and destroyed by card effects in order to get his effect. So your opponent will just attack into it, and then that'll end your loop. So it's not worth it. Other than that, this card gets you into your Gulldo, which is an instant level 5 synchro, and it's also one of the key ways you're gonna get into freeze. So he's in there at 3. And then to end out the Gusto monsters, I run 2 caam Serenity of Gusto. Everyone knows how great caam is, but 3 is cloggy, 2 is just the perfect number. Next, I run 3 junk Synchron. At first, I was running 2 Synchrons, at first I was running 3 Synchrons and reinforcement. And then I went down to 2 Synchrons and 1 reinforcement, but I don't know. Just might as well run 3 Synchrons and then took out the reinforcement for another one. So either way it goes, I would have it. And then this gives you 3 shots at 3 different level 5s. Daigusto Gulldos is absolutely my favorite Gusto synchro. So junk synchron allows me to get into that easier than anything else except for Kamui. So it's in there at 3. And then double Effect Veiler. Effect Veiler is in there to stop Insectors. Insectors are an absolute nightmare for this deck. Anything that really destroys by card effects is too. So if someone, you know, with High Priestess, if they start to remove to destroy your monsters, you Veiler her. And then if they don't attack, then you still have your monster. If they do attack, then you just keep recruiting. But any monster that destroys by card effects is what Effect Veiler is in there to stop. Next, onto the spells. Move this out of the way. We have 3 creature swap. Creature swap's absolutely broken in this deck because if you swap any of your birds, any of the winged beasts, then you get to keep your recruiting lock. It's also a last ditch effort. Like if they top deck a BLS and then they're like removed, the next turn you can set a card and creature swap, attack again, and then attack them with whatever you recruit. You know, creature swap is almost like top decking a monster reborn in this deck, just because you always should have a monster on the field if you play the lock right. Next, I'm running 2 Pot of Duality, which is a card that I haven't ran in a while. But Pot of Duality is in here to help you search for your parts. If you are missing any of the level 3 or lower, if you're missing Gulldo, Kamui, Winda, or Egul, you go ahead and search for it with your Pot of Duality. You see what your next couple of cards are, because you will open up with junk Synchron and no cards in the grave, and that's going to suck. And you will open up with caam, which doesn't really suck, but isn't really good, just to have a 17 beater on the field. So you want to open up with one of your recruiters, and Pot Duality gives you a second chance at that. Next, I am running 2 space this time, and that is because I'm not running Icarus Attack anymore. Spoiler, I know I'm going to get a bunch of hate for that, but I was talking to Phoenix Flarix about that actually, and he brought up a good point. What am I getting out of it? Other than destroying 2 of your cards, I'm still giving up my field presence for that. And if I'm breaking up my own lock to destroy something on your side of the field, I either better have another monster to set or to summon, or I'm in a bad position. And, I mean, Icarus Attack, I didn't like it very much. I'm also not running Emergency Teleport in here anymore, because it doesn't search out for anything. I tried to run Psychic Jumper in here so that, I would have a viable target, but it's not worth it to run, those 4 cards and take 4 cards out of the defense of the deck. So, next I run 1 Contact with Gusto instead of a 3rd MST. Contact can be a MST, it can be a Soul Taker, it can be a bunch of stuff. So, whatever's giving you a problem, you just contact it and destroy it, and then just keep going. Then I run 1 Monster Reborn, 1 Heavy Storm, 1 Pot of Avarice, which might as well just be a staple in this deck, 1 Dark Hole, 1 Miracle Synchro Fusion, and because I'm just an aggressive player and I can't not run any type of offense, I am running 1 for 1. And a really funny combo, especially this card is going to be great when Gusto Griffin is legal, but until then, 1 for 1 allows you to pitch out any monster in your hand to special summon either Effect Valor or Egul. So if you have an opponent's monster, if they have a big monster on the field and they know your lock or whatever, they know that if they keep hitting, then you're not going to special. Then you're going to keep special summoning and they don't hit for some reason. Or if, you have them so that they can attack with a Fiendish Chain, which I run, just, spoiler. If you Fiendish Chain their monster, then next turn you flip your Kamui, special summon Gulldo, Synchro for 5. If they don't have a response for that, then you 1 for 1, special summon Egul, Synchro for 6 into Freeze. Freeze hits the field, then you get your Gulldo back, and then you normal summon and you swing into their big monster. So 1 for 1 allows you to get into Freeze a little bit easier. And then onto the traps, I run triple Fiendish Chain. For 2 reasons. One is Fiendish Chain is another Effect Veiler, so they can't sit there and destroy your monsters by card effects. Second, though, is it stops an attack, and I know it's weird because you want your monsters to attack, but like I said, if you have a Kamui face down with a live 1 for 1 in hand, then you Fiendish Chain their monster, and then it's like you're playing T-ball. I was always terrible at baseball, but if you put the ball right there and you make sure it can't move, you can hit it. That's the same thing with Fiendish Chain. If you put their opponent's monster, you leave their monster in attack position, you leave it right there, then you know for a fact it's going to be there so that you can Synchro this Freeze and start swinging into their big monster. Most people that I play against know not to leave a big monster on the field if they can see that I can make Freeze. So, Fiendish Chain, I make them leave a big monster on the field so that I can swing into game. Then, you run 2 Solemn Warning. 2 Mirror Force, because you choose what you want your opponents to hit you with. 2 Dimensional Prison, because I'm still having problems with heroes, even in a deck that, you know, is battle oriented. Heroes still have a bunch of destruction effects like Hero Blast and Gemini Spark. So Dimensional Fissure, or Dimensional Prison, excuse me, gets rid of that. It also gets rid of Shining, which is just the bane of my existence. And then 1 Compulse and 1 Needle Sealing. Needle Sealing over Torrential Tribute, because when your monsters are destroyed by card effects, you don't get their effects. I can't stress that enough. So when you have your monsters face down, you activate Needle Sealing, then all of their face-up monsters die, and your face-down monster stays the same. On to the extra. I run 1 Ally of Justice Catastor, 2 Daigusto Gulldos, 1 Magical Android, 2 Daigusto Freeze, and 1 Psychic Nightmare. I don't really know when you would want to go into Nightmare over Freeze unless you have a Magical Android on the field and then you have a tuner. I don't know when you would want to over Freeze, but it's there just in case. You have 1 Black Rose Dragon and 1 Daigusto Eagles as a 26 beater. And then, you know, if you're playing against a deck that is like a stall deck or something like that, you can just start destroying their face downs. 1 Stardust Dragon, Thought Ruler, and Scrap Dragon. Generic level 8s, you have to play them all. It's just too good not to. And then for my rank 3, I run 1 Wind-Up Zen Mains. And then 1 Mossstrokes, the Symphony Djinn as my rank 4s. Because you will be creature swapping and your opponents will have level 4 monsters. And then you will have caam on the field. And sure, you can just, you know, you can just leave it on the field, or you could just go into Djinn and then have another defensive monster on the board. And then Ultimate Axon Kicker to round out the deck. Because you do run Psychics, and all your Synchros are Psychic. So that's why he's in there. And as you guys will see, that is the Gusto deck. And if you guys can't tell or not, I don't have a side deck for him. I usually do have a side deck for you guys, but like I explained in my Psychic deck, and if this goes up before my Psychic deck does, then you'll hear it here. I don't have it here because we don't know, well, I personally don't know what cards I can side in against the new Prophecy and the new Mermail deck and the new Future Laval deck. And all those new top tier decks without, you know, hurting myself, like Dimensional Fissure and Macrocosmos are good against, you know, 2 of those decks, but it's terrible against this deck. Like, it tears you apart. So we have to find different things that we can run that won't stop them, that will stop them and won't hurt us. So until I can figure that out, I haven't put a side deck up, but this is the Gusto deck that I'm running for you guys, and let me know what you guys think about it. Let me know any side deck cards that you guys might have. Alright,